que Madeleine me ha dicho que venga una vez a la semana, intentar hacerlo y también... ¿Cómo?
Yo me apaño, gracias.
Joder, es que es muy incómodo.
Ah, sí.
Hola, buenos días.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for being here at this press conference. As you know, we're going to present Los Destellos, Glimmers, a film that competes in the official section. To present it, we've got a significant part of the cast and production. As many, I'm going to present them, introduce them, and then open up the QA. We've got from the end of the panel to here, Valerie DELPIERRE, executive producer of the film, Marina GUEROLA, actress, Antonio de la Torre, actor, Pilar Palomero, director, Patricia López ARNAIZ, actor, Julián López, actor, and Fernando Lobeira, producer. So therefore, if anyone please wants to ask a question, raise your hand. There's one in the front row. Hi, first of all, congratulations for the film. I would like to ask you, Pilar, because it seems very interesting that in your third film, the issue of family unity continues to be present, but treated from another perspective, another story, which is completely different. I'd like to ask you what moves you or moves you to take the story along these lines. Thank you. It all has to do how the project started was because Fernando proposed to talk about Eider Rodriguez, A Heart Too Big, whereas the main part of the story is this. The film is very faithful to Eider's story. So therefore, I felt from the outset that it was a film about good people who may have had conflict, but love, in capital letters, at the end of it. It's not romantic love they may have had between each other, but love as human beings, which was the essential part of it. And I hope they may reflect beyond that family unit of taking care not only of the family, of amongst us all as a society. This has been the objective of the film throughout. Here's another question here. Pilar, congratulations to all of you. Two questions, one for you. Okay, the novel, it's quite clear. It's a very clear novel, but how do you mentally design this film to take from little minor details to generate all of these emotions, being faithful to the novel, which I know is quite complicated? And Antonio, what happens when you confront a character like this? Preparing your character, do you get into that place, or how you're going to confront death, or you simply just portray the character and that's it? Well, for me, one of the most important things when Fernando proposed adapting it was to take it to something which was very personal. I feel that the film is very faithful to the story of the novel and has a lot of Eider in it, but I feel it my own. I didn't consider it at all as a commissioned film. No, it was a door and that was opening, a proposal, and it all went through making it my own to the extent what would happen. This had happened in my town, in my family in Tarragona, was where we shot the film in the upperlands and the Baix Ebre region. And I was quite fortunate that when I decided to shoot there, to write the script thinking about the places that I knew. There's a lot of part of the screenplay and the film that are born from places where I was emotionally linked to and where I've been able to live through similar things that take place in those same places. So therefore, this film for me has a very strong ties to me and personal ties to me, because I wanted to convey things that I personally lived through, and it's better to do it through some characters created perfectly by Eider, because I think there are 4 characters that are very complex, contradictory, and in turn, for a director, they were very good to do, but I mean, obviously, these are the things that concern me the most, which were already in my shorts. Now that you've seen the film, at the end of the day, it was a film about life, and that was a mantra that we've repeated time and time again, from the beginning, from the first versions, when we talked about to Fernando, all the way until now. Take advantage now of this moment, take this opportunity of linking to it. My character is a mirror where the focus of the film is a story which is Isabel and Mayalen. I have an age that I'm pursued by what I've done in the past, but we can't tell a story about what you don't know about. I can't die to prepare the role, but to enter into a part of my imagination, use my imagination, better said. Something that I'd love to talk about. I don't know whether it's going to come out or not, but I think this film gives you the possibility of live in a dignified manner as Pilar, and therefore die in a dignified manner. And the character, the best actor of the film, is the Dr. Pablo Iglesias, when he says, the fact of death is what dignifies life. So therefore, to not talk too much, I would say, I've used my imagination and tried to look at myself in the eyes of other people who knew that they were going to die. Well, this film for me is very exciting because it makes sense to my profession to be able to be an instrument to tell the stories of other people. And politically, I would like to say, more than ever, I think it's necessary to have public health that gives means for terminal people who are sick. We live in a modern society. We're in a country which has quite a long longevity to people. I think that people should be able to die in a dignified manner or in dignity.
Hola, buenos días.
Hi, good morning. Congratulations for this beautiful film, and it really moves you. A couple of questions for Pilar. First is the photography. There's a contrast between inside and outside. The specific area, the light of the south of Tarragona, the light. How did you work with Daniela Cajias? How did you want that sort of light? And also in the credits, amongst the many thanks, there's a list of women directors who are colleagues of yours. I'm not too sure whether you can explain why in this third film you are grateful to them. We've got Daniela Cajias here, who's our DOP, who I think has done a great job. I think Daniela and I share a certain cinematographic sensitivity and sensitivity in general. And I think both of us, it was quite clear what references we're going to use for the film. There's also something which was agreed upon beforehand. That it was quite clear to me that this film wanted to have a different language to the previous films. I think the story required it, and also I wanted to go back to the language that I have used, different to what I used in the shorts. In La Martenal, everything was a hand cam. There was a different devices used around the actresses. The work here was planning things a lot, very much, and also voluntarily we've gone to something classical, trying to find something new in the way the camera moves, in those takes, in those scenes. And the references for us, it's marvelous because she sent me a photo of a film that both have, was quite clear in our mind. And also it's very important, once again, to shoot in Horta. Horta is a place, I was born in Zaragoza, I've lived in Zaragoza. Zaragoza, we call it my town, or my village, to that place where your grandparents were born. I didn't get to meet my grandfather, but I spent there my childhood. So the truth is, I'm very linked to this place, and I've been there. I think all of the shorts that I've directed, except the two that I shot in Bosnia, I've shot them in Horta. A lot of the locations that you see in the film are also in those shorts that I made. Apart from the shorts in my archive, I shot a lot with my mobile, with a small camera. I film people, I film places. So therefore, for me, it's very important. Daniela spent a lot of time in Horta as well, and it's very important to think and imagine the film from the nature of the town itself, villages itself, with the colors it has, the olive groves. This is a landscape that it forms part of my sentimental memory. And so there I'm very happy of the work we've done, the truth is, in the photography and in general. And the other question, well, in all films, I am grateful to my women colleague directors for a practical issue, basically. They've seen the film or they've read the script, they've given me their feedback, and in the being acknowledgements of the people who have participated in the film one way or another, it's a moment to acknowledge them. And I also recognize that I feel very proud of being able to make these acknowledgements and feel this network of support that we've created between us all. And I think it's something which is quite beautiful. Congratulations for the film. I'd like to ask Julián, he normally does comical roles. What's it like to portray a role that's so deep and dramatic in a film as is in this film, Glimmers? Thank you. Well, I tell you that when we started to shoot, I remember the first day, I talked to Pilar about this. I had a bit of a headache. And we took several takes, and she looked at me, my face, and I'm a bit dizzy. I think this is the move from doing comedy to doing drama. And I think that's why I got dizzy. I thought, well, this is weird. No, sorry, I had to introduce it this way. Sorry. But I'm very moved. Listen, I'm very lucky to do this work. I love cinema, TV a lot, and portraying characters. And I must say, in defending comedy, every time I've done a comical role, I've taken it from the implicit dramatic side, then situations that occur. And I can assure you there have been scenes that I would never manage to think whether I'm in a comical or dramatical film. But the truth here, the work has been fabulous, not only by Pilar, but also by colleagues that are marvelous, that have helped me very much. And it was easy because we lack confidence sometimes in ourselves, and that disappeared because it was a leaping into the void without a net, but we knew that they were there. And with Antonio, I wasn't with him too much. But for me, a special door was opened, undoubtedly, that I would like to continue to delve into. But I mean, in all the roles that you use your heart to portray and to scratch the surface and go deeper into, those are the valid ones, be they a horror, terror film, thriller, or a comical film. Congratulations to the film. While I was watching the film, I said Patricia is the leading character, but at the end, when it finishes, I've got the feeling it's more she was a spectator of the story. They're all protagonists, Marina, Antonio. I'd like to know that while you were making the film, how did you work? What were the dynamics of the characters, Pilar, so that everyone had a certain point in the film and there wasn't a clear protagonist in the film, but just like in life, we're all protagonists, or we all play a leading role, and also apart from the actors and actresses, how did you work on this issue? Well, the film, it is true, it's always told from the story, from the point of view of Isabel, even how we discover Ramon. Slowly but surely, gradually, trying to convey the distance they have at the beginning and how close they are at the end. And so I say this, and I can't avoid thanking Patri, because I think the work that she's done has been beautiful, because it's very subtle, it's very little gestures and very little glances and looks. Isabel's world was very complicated. The journey that Isabel goes through, I see it very difficult to be able to do it as a person, and Patricia, who lives everything and prepares things quite a lot, and I think it's very beautiful to see how it's grown. And the truth is, it's also been a beautiful side of things, how we've created this family, a family that were two people, and even up to the rehearsal, that was the case. But in the rehearsals, I like to address them, not rehearsals per se. We're not going over the script all the time, but what I proposed was living together, and for a week we were part of the family that existed, which are Patricia y Antonio, and Marina, Isabel, Ramon, and Madalen, and to create not only memories, but generating. And then Antonio left, and Julián turned up. So therefore, it's another way for me to get to know each other. I can't conceive starting a shoot without feeling comfortable with them, without them feeling comfortable with me. And I also take this opportunity to rewrite the last version of the script, where during those days I looked at things that I could add another layer to the character and form part of them, or things that happen. There are things that happen during those days, and there are many things that happened on those days. When they talked about that they met each other with a dog, I think this is a story about Patricia told it. These were memories that by saying, what about the dog? Tell us about the story. Well, we laughed, and also, we must say that from the outset, I told everyone of how I wanted to work, that I like. And I think it's something, it's not interpreted correctly, because improvisation is just not shoot and let things pan out. No, there's a lot of work. Ruben Martinez, my right-hand coach and friend. No, I don't know where you are, Ruben, there you are. And it's work that we do very in depth and hard-headed, and in a very thinking about it in depth. We have the script, obviously, but there are things that I use in the schoolgirls in La Maternal. It's the first film that they're acting, but they're doing it from a less intellectual standpoint. I wanted to take that into the film, put that in this film as well. And I wanted to be a film that you've got to learn this dialogue. When maybe there is a dialogue, but there's the freedom for things to happen. I'm completely open that in the shooting of the film, things may happen. I'm happy when that happens. Other things happen. And there are several anecdotes. When the photo fell, when Marina, Madalen has to move a lemon tree, and a photo fell down, and that photo was a photo of Antonio when he was younger. And we put that in the scene, so we created the scene from there. But I think that we were all present, and now I'm going to shut up and allow you to speak. I'm laughing because I remember it was a bit of a downer, because Pilar said, look, look at him. But look, he looks like another person. And I was standing there with my breathing device. And the truth is, I looked like another person, sorry. You look like you're about 20 years older, but you're right. But these are the truths when they tell you to your face, you go, oh my gosh, you know it, but you go, but that moment, I got a bit of a downer, but perhaps it fitted in well for the scene. That's my method. No, it was freakish. But I'm a super fan of doing that, yes. I tell you, as an actor, sorry I got involved in the conversation, but it's incredible to shoot with this woman. The experience was fascinating as an actor. Fascinating. Marina or Patricia, would you like to, as they've talked, Antonia has spoken, and Antonia and Julián, and as actresses, and also about this work with Pilar. Well, for me, working with Pilar and with the colleagues I've had has been a gift. The opportunity that Pilar has given me to be able to participate in the film and give life to the character of Madeleine has been, it's a journey and a personal learning process. I enjoyed it very much. We have come along, I've cried and laughed a lot. And I want to thank them for everything that's happening to me at the end of the day. To talk about the work that we've done. I personally, I think it's very interesting as an actress. There are many ways to address the way we do our work. Everyone has their own ways to do so, but of course, it all comes from the fact of who directs and the proposal and what their method is and what their look and how they understand cinema. Some things that doesn't happen sometimes in our work is it's a pity when we don't focus on the relations when we create the characters, because the character is generated through the other characters. To generate your characters, you have to create the other characters. That's it, to create the link and the relationship with the other characters. When that's worked upon well and we really manage to do a good job in creating the relationships between the characters, I don't know what high percentage of the film you've already made. The rest are situations in which you introduce that constellation, that family, or those characters. And if that's well done, you can improvise what you say. Improvise doesn't mean whatever happens. Improvisation comes from a lot of prior work that has to do with this. Then that constellation, you can put it wherever in. You can do it whenever you want, but it's got to be well constructed. And Pilar has a great talent for this, because in all of the preparation that we didn't go through scenes of the film, what she do was generate relationships. Because in that process of getting to know each other, we also generated more trust, and there was a much more real link between us. And that's one thing. And the other side has to do with the story of the characters. The story of the characters, Pilar came with all of that well designed, in the sense that there has to be a coherence in within the family. There's got to be coherence, and the relationship with one person is another, and the relationship between characters is different. It's got to be well designed. There's got to be a network there, and she does this. She gives you that information, and that information it goes into your body through the improvisations that we do, living together, or simply the happy family. The happy family. Those of us that are okay, we had dinner and we played Twister or whatever. Our family, we watched TV for a while. So watching TV, and all of a sudden she improvises. Now you walk in and this has happened, and we improvise things of the day-to-day of a family. And that generates a memory in your body and in your imagination. So when you're shooting, it comes back to you, and everything has been lived through. You're in the scene, and the way you are with the rest of your colleagues, you're already lived through. So it's impossible for an actor or an actress to be bad to do a poor job. All of the jobs with Pilar are going to be very good because she knows very well how to situate ourselves, and you get into her hands and she makes you inhabit that place. Of course, that we're all actors and actresses with that availability and the will to do so, and that generosity with which I think, and also the trust with which we've all done our work. And also with presentations and festivals, everything is overlapped. We don't have all the time that we have. I know there are several questions that we won't be able to do, but I didn't want to say farewell without giving voice to all of the people that are here. I would like to ask, therefore, Valerie and Fernando, obviously, to produce a film by Pilar, is producing a film of an author who's consolidated, who has her own voice, a very personal voice, but it's not easy to produce films like Glimmers. I think it's more and more difficult to wager in favor of more intimate and personal cinema, the way the industry is at present. I would like to ask you, why Los Destellos, Glimmers, that is to say the film, apart from it's a film by Pilar, and it's a guarantee that it's going to be a good film. But let's get into the situation in the moment that we're in and how difficult it is to wager in favor of very intimate and personal, albeit you've been doing it for many years. I would like you to talk to this a little bit, about this a little bit. Well, it comes from reading a story that moves you, and the story, it's a short story, it's not a novel, but yeah, that was very powerful. That's where the story was. It was a sketch that was saying that's where the characters were. You offered that. We offered it to her. It wasn't commissioned to her. That creation to be done in another art form, and therefore, what you've got to do is to try to achieve the financing to make the film, which is a very long process. Plus, these types of films are complex for financing. And once you've got that, to give her all the confidence and trust to Pilar. Valerie, we incorporated her into the film. She'd made the previous two films by Pilar. And I think that everything has flowed very naturally. But the film is a film by Pilar. It's a story by Rodriguez, but where Pilar has given all of her delicacy, all her sensitivity, and honesty, because it's a very honest film, I think. I want to thank Fernando, who was generous enough to invite me to participate and to be able to be present in Pilar's film, in her third film. My only reason is beyond the quality of the script and the team behind the film, is that she's in control, and the trust and confidence I have in her. Okay, thank you very much. Excuse our colleagues that couldn't ask questions. And thank you very much to the team of Glimmers. Good luck this afternoon and for the rest of the life of the film. Thank you.